The money that is supposed to be used to strengthen security and democracy in Somalia seems not to be serving the correct purpose. This Horn of Africa country has been in chaos since 1991, torn by years of war and violence. It has no central government, and the weak Transitional Federal Government, or TFG, survives on foreign donations. The British Department for International Development is the second largest donor, behind the European Commission, to UN programs supporting the TFG, having committed £11 million to date.
The UK, together with the international community, believes the best chance for the future of Somalia comes in working with the Somalis to strengthen the rule of law in the country, that is, the police and judiciary. We have to be realistic. We can only work within existing conditions in Somalia, far from ideal as these may be.
The British money is financing a police force to keep the peace, but a report by the UN Monitoring Group on Somalia cited numerous allegations that the police had recruited clan militias so that they could collect salaries provided by international donors.
There are no morals there anymore. You know, they just enlist people, militia, anybody who has money can do anything about Somalia.
Members of the Somalia Community Centre in London say everything is in the hands of former warlords. For example, the police force is led by one whose militias once fought US and UN forces in Mogadishu. He is now just one of several former warlords who hold positions within the transitional government or its security arms.
There is no warlord, as they call them. But a group of the government itself consists of warlords, but they don't operate as individual warlords at the present.
Abdul Qadir Farah is convinced that less than 10% of the money meant for Somalia will actually reach people on the ground. The UN report gives details of mismanagement, with examples such as police taking part in military engagements or selling weapons at Mogadishu's main arms market. Other UN reports detail allegations of torture, indiscriminate shooting of civilians and harassment of journalists.
One of the reasons why Somali warlords feel that they can, Somali leaders feel that they can get away with very serious human rights abuses is because there has been no accountability for so many years. And it seems to us that the Americans and the British and other external actors, including the Ethiopians, have been legitimizing and empowering exactly those leaders who have been responsible for some of the worst human rights abuses in Somalia over the last decade and a half.
So the question is whether British taxpayers should continue funding the current regime in a faraway African country.
The main impact of the chaos in the south on the UK is that we've had many refugees coming here, people looking for safety as a result of what's happening in the south. It's in the interest of the whole of the region of the Horn of Africa as a whole, and actually of Europe and the world as a whole, that there should be some order and stability in Somalia.
But some in Britain believe there is always an option of withdrawal.
The kind of good, decent, law-abiding, liberal, democratic forces about which the Western media and intellectuals and even some government people like to fantasize do not exist in these places, or if they exist, they're too weak to make any difference. Everything that we do should be done in the awareness that one day we will go home, and that the people in the region and on the ground will be left to run things as best they can.
And although everyone here agrees there are only two options, either to work with existing allies or walk away, Human Rights Watch believes the UK should think more carefully about putting its weight behind a policy leading to serious human rights abuses in the name of counter-terrorism, and that British officials should speak up about it if they want their taxpayers to feel the expense is justified. Daria Pushkova, RT, London.